Hello, everyone, friends and colleagues, and welcome to today's Organ House concert and seminar series. My name is Alade Dorcas, and I am your host for today. The Organ House concert and seminar series is more than an academic gathering. It is a living space where music, thought, and creativity meets. As an interdisciplinary research initiative, it brings together scholars, composers, performers, educators, and professionals in shared pursuit of sound, knowledge, and innovation. Through rigorous and imaginative engagement, the series nurtures an academic and artistic vision deeply rooted in local realities and yet globally relevant. At its core, the organelles champions critical and inventive approaches to music research, composition, and performance, inspiring new ways of exploring and documenting Nigeria's and Africa's rich musical and cultural heritage. Once again, you're welcome to this safe space. Our focus today is entitled Social Change Through Community Music in Nigeria, a perspective from the Darko's Music Foundation. Music education has become increasingly elusive in Nigeria's primary and secondary schools and remains under-resourced in many communities. How can music educators and scholars engage communities through music to drive social change in contemporary Nigeria? In this presentation, Mr. Daniel Darko, a musician, music educator, and the founder of Darko Music Foundation, will offer insights into how community-driven music initiative can mediate social change. Drawing from professional practices, experience, and his 4Cs model, Darko will demonstrate how community music can promote empowerment, cultural renewal, and sustainable development across Nigeria. Our presenter today is Daniel Prikeme Darko, the founder of Darko's Music Foundation. He is the passionate advocate of the United Nations SDG 4 through quality music education in Nigeria. A Musical Society of Nigeria Muson alumnus with ABRSM credits in classroom music. He currently pursues a degree in entrepreneurship at Miva Open University. He is a Cato colleague and a certified UPG Aspire Institute leader. Join me as a welcome Mr. Daniel. Hello, Mr. Daniel.
Hello, Ms. Shemilori. Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you all for joining also.
It's so nice to have you on board. Thank you. Before we go on,
it's a great pleasure.
Good. Before we go on, I would want to remind us about our social media pages. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Let us do well to follow, like, and subscribe. On our YouTube page, we have created these conversations, which we are so sure will assist in our musical journey. Mr. Daniel Darko, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. Thank you. It's a great opportunity to be here today. I mean, it's one thing to do something, especially about social change through community music in Nigeria, and is another thing to have the opportunity to be in spaces like this to talk about what you're most passionate about and what you do volunteer for to a wider audience and for a wider reach. I want to thank the Mountain Top University, Department of Music, and also the Organ House Concert Seminar Series, including everyone that is behind the scenes, putting all of this together to make it work. It's a great pleasure to be here, I must say. Thank you so very much. Okay, so we'll get started just right immediately. So we'll be talking about um, social change through community music in Nigeria, a perspective from the Darko Music Foundation, from our foundation. Just to be sure, can we all see my slide?
Yes, yes, we can.
Oh, all right, all right. So yeah, let's dive in. Now, what exactly is social change? And why is it really important? Why do we need to talk about social change? So, sociologists define social change as a transformation of cultures, institutions, and functions. Now, why is it important? Number one, social change helps improve the community. Social change addresses problems and creates solutions. Social change keeps governments and citizens accountable. Social change drives resistance and activism for a common good. And then, of course, social change empowers citizens and improves lives. I mean, we could have, much more importance of why, social change needs to be talked about and why, of course, it is important. Now, we're going to look at community because we are looking at, okay, social change through community music in Nigeria. What then do we say community is, and what are the types of community that we can have? So the English word community derives from the Old French communauté, which comes from Latin communitas, is a social unit, group of people with shared social significant characteristics, being place, set of norms, culture, religion, values, customs, or identity. Now, of course, we have numerous types of community, but then I gave 7 here, and then we could also search for others. So the 7 types, common types of community can be categorized by their purpose or structure, including the community of place. It could be an urban area, a rural area, or even a suburban area. Communities of interest, that's community with a shared hobby or passions. Communities of practice, like shared professional skills, just like we are here now. We have exceptional musicians in the house. This is a community. Community of circumstance, shared life situations. It could be, people born with sickle cell, yeah, so that's like shared life situations. And then we have communities of actions, that is working together, for a common goal. And then we also have the virtual community, online interactions, just like, we are here right now. This is a virtual community for most of us. And then for cultural communities, shared identity. You say, oh, okay, from Delta State, for instance, when I go to my state, Ijo to be precise, being your village, and then be able to identify yourself with your community. That, oh, okay, we all in this community, we are from, so and so tribe. Now we're going to talk about, okay, this is a picture of communities that we could have. The first picture you see, that's a rural, urban, and suburban kind of community. The second one is a school community. With this is a community of, it has become a community where first week, Friday to be precise, of December, everyone just knows, oh, it's experience. We are to gather at TBS Lagos to unite with one voice, and then of course enjoy the gift of music, pray for the nation at large. So that is a good community of interest, shared purpose, and values. Now, the last picture you could see, it's a virtual community. You have your phones, you're texting. From here, you could text someone who is in London, in US. You could, have WhatsApp call. You could even have meetings, just like we're having Zoom meeting now. We have a lot of people from different country and in various places joining us to participate in this webinar for today. Now, community service and volunteering, which is the major reason why we're having this conversation now. What is community service? And then what exactly is volunteering? If you say, oh, okay, social change, we looked at social change through community service. What is community service? So community service is unpaid work performed by a person, or group of people for the benefit and betterment of their community. So I want to underline the word kind of unpaid. So community service is not a paid job. It's something you say, oh, okay, as an individual, or as a group of people, we want to go do XYZ in our community for one purpose, the betterment of the community. Now, you do this through what we call volunteering, which is the next word. Now, what is volunteering? Volunteering is a selfless act where individuals freely give their time, skills, and effort to assist others or contribute to a cause with no expectation of payments or obligation. It is driven by personal motivation to make a positive impact, whether locally or globally. That's what volunteering is. It's selfless. You're not really looking for, oh, okay, so who would notice me or who would pay me for this job? It's something you just look at. You look at it, oh, you think there's something not right in a particular area, and then you take it upon yourself, or you take it to your team or group of people. Let's go do XYZ. How can I make this better? So that is what community service actually is, and what volunteering is. Now, as a foundation, the Darko's Music Foundation, we do community service and then do active volunteering. This is our mission statement and this is our vision. Now, our mission statement, we want to encourage both formal and informal music education within Nigeria. And then we also want to educate and provide students with music theory and practice while promoting sustainable development goals through educative music. Now, what's our vision? What are we looking at? We're envisioning in Nigeria where musical thrive free from stereotypes and barriers, training students to become music professionals, unlocking their creativity and opportunity. Now, where is our community? Our community is majorly in schools. So we've adopted, the school to be our own community, by which we are, advocating for social change. We are driving social change through, the school community. And with what? With music. We know that music is a universal language. It doesn't have, to be, oh, okay, so I'm from this part of the world or I'm from that part of the world. Music is what unites, people. And, it's so nice that you listen to music, you don't even know the language. We listen to French music, we listen to German music, we listen to Italian music, we listen to Yoruba music, Igbo music, Hausa music, and all sorts of music. And then we don't even, have the understanding per se of what the words or what the lyrics are saying, but we just have this connection with it, this feeling, because it is actually universal language. So it's something that just speaks to our soul, speaks to our inner being. And that's what we are doing as, a foundation. We are taking this universal language to school communities to encourage formal music, informal music, to educate students, provide them with everything that is necessary for them to, do music, unlock their creativity, give them the opportunity, just like the Musical Society of Nigeria, MTNF Foundation, what they do basically is to help, fund students to study music for 2 years and give them stipends. So you really do not have to worry about, oh, how am I going to transport myself there from where I'm living, wherever it is. So that is what MTN Foundation, Muslim Foundation, what they do, you see, to help people like myself and over 400 people that have gone through that program to be able to do music per se without being stereotyped or without any kind of barrier and all sorts of it. So as a foundation, the Darko's Music Foundation, I want to show you just an excerpt of what we've been doing so far. The video that is coming next is about 5 to 6 minutes long, and imagine putting 5 to 6 minutes video for something you've been doing for over a year. So it's just for us to understand what we really are doing and how we are driving social change through community music. Just to be sure, can we still see my slide? Because I'm going next to the video now.
Yes, we can.
Oh, all right. So watch this video. All right.
Hello, Mr. Daniel. Hello, Mr. Daniel.
And then for the spaces we have A, C, space. Wow. Thank you so much for watching. Can we all see me?
Yes, Mr. Daniel, we can still hear you. That was an
All
exciting
right.
video. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are moving on. Social change through community music in Nigeria. There are two questions. The first one is, how can music educators and scholars engage communities through music to drive social change in contemporary Nigeria? And secondly, the second question, how can community music promote empowerment, cultural renewal, and sustainable development across Nigeria? Now, to answer this question, I draft out for a 4C model, which we're going to be looking at now, because it's actually not mutually exclusive, neither is it collectively exhaustive, but it's just what I have done and we as a team have done over time, and it has really worked. Now, the first C is the crisis. That's to answer that question. The first is the crisis. Now, what's the crisis? Policy versus practice. The national policy on education that mandates music versus the widespread failure of practical implementation. Of a truth, in our curriculum, from even the primary level down to the senior secondary school level, you see music all around, you see? But the issue now, the crisis is, where is, the practice? It's just a policy, it's just there, it's just lying down there. Where is the practice? Under-resourcing, the lack of musical instruments, textbooks, and functional music rooms, and also studios in schools. You go to so many schools, boy, they even barely have seats to sit on. Part of that video you saw sometimes when the kids have to sit on the floor. So if you don't even have a seat to sit on as a student in a school, how can you then have other basic things like musical instruments or functional music rooms or studios in schools? Another crisis is the teacher shortage. Now, the reality of non-specialist teachers handling music. Let's take, for instance, let's go to GS1 to GS3, that's the junior secondary school level. There is a teacher, right, for each subject normally. But then you don't have a teacher for music. And that leads us to the merger, the combination of music, drama, and dance with no ample time for dedicated learning. Now, when you now have the merger, as you call it, you say cultural and creative arts. That is, the subject. Cultural and creative arts involves music, drama, and then dance. The teacher that is teaching music, drama, and dance, well, I can't really say. I don't know. What do you think? Can you study music, drama, and dance? If you would do that, it take period of years, at least 4 years for music, 4 years for or let's say 2 diplomas, let's say 2 years to 6 years. And then how good can you be? How perfect can you be for the 3 of them, for you to now begin to say, oh, okay, I'm a dance teacher, I'm a music teacher, and I'm a drama teacher? So when you have this merger like this, there's no ample time for students to, dedicate learning to, oh, okay, I personally, I have the, I think I'm creative in music. The teacher is a dancer, or the teacher is an artist. So you see that the problem, those music topics that now comes up in the cultural and creative arts, it has been skipped, it has been omitted. I see that a lot. I've been to 6 schools, at least now, get to talk to their cultural and creative art teacher. Okay, what's happening? How are you able to do this? How are you carrying out XYZ out? The truth is, majority don't even have cultural and creative arts teacher. Even if it's merged, they don't even have cultural and creative art teacher. The few that has cultural and creative art teacher, they don't know. When you say what is the staff, for instance, they don't even know. They read it anyhow and then pass it to the students anyhow. Some even skip it. Well, no one actually cares. No one is really checking. No one is going through these notes to be sure that, oh, okay, these things are being followed. It's just policies, right? Now, the crisis, the last one I have here, is the mindset gap. This is a big crisis for us, as musicians and a nation at large. Now, the public bias of music as a hobby and not core discipline, we could have more crisis. Now, people think majority, if you go out there, I've myself and my team, we've been out there, we just ask people, students, most especially, do you do music in your school? 80% no, especially in public schools. And then what do your parents think about music? You love music, right? But what do they think about it? What do your family think about music? Well, it's not a serious thing. It's just an hobby. I guess, there are some of us here which would have that experience where you tell someone, I want to study music, and they look at you. The next question is, maybe, do you want to be the next Wizkid or the next Davido or the next Burna Boy, etc. They look at you as unserious. They look at musicians as unserious people who are just whiling away their time and wasting their resources. That's what the majority, the public look at musicians as. This is a very serious crisis. Now, this is one of the C's. What's the next C? Let's take a look at the next C. The next C is the cost of silence. Now, when you say the cost of silence, we have the missed cognitive and social benefits that music provides to overall student development. In fact, what we mean by cost of silence, that is when you keep quiet, when you do nothing about this. You've seen the crisis, you've seen the bias, you've seen the way the people think about what music is. If you are silent as a musician, if you are silent as a music enthusiast, if you are silent about this profession, if you're silent about this community, what happens? We see that we would miss, cognitive and social benefit that music provides. Students will miss it. The loss of cultural heritage and failure to groom Nigeria's next generation of local and global musical talents. Personally, let me just share this short story. Personally, I wanted to, I'm very creative, in music making. Even before I thought of it as, okay, I want to do this as a profession. I sing in church, choir boy. I also write music, I compose. Even though then I don't know what, music is really all about, but then I just compose music. And, there's that gift. My mom is also a fantastic musician. My sister, it just runs in the family. So I thought to myself, I said, okay, I want to study music, right? And where is the best place that I could study? I did my findings and I saw the Musical Society of Nigeria. Wow, music is like, okay, it's taken seriously there. So I said, okay, I'm going to go here. One day I just, went there and I asked the admin, I said, I want to be a student here. What does it take? They told me you have to pass your grade 5, practical and theory. Oh, okay. So how am I going to go about this? Oh, all right. So you can pay, right? You can pay. Then I can't really remember how much it was. You can pay for it and you start what they call basic school classes. But then I did not have money to pay for it or to afford it. My parents also were not even very serious about it when I told them. They're like, oh, okay, we'll look at it. Those are some of the biases we are talking about. So what I did was I self-studied. So I went online, got materials, did everything necessary, self-studied, went to sit for my grade 5 theory, did the practical, and the rest they say is history, and then got into Mission. You see? So if someone like me, I've said, oh, okay, money is a challenge, or my parents are not taking this very seriously, or you know what, let me just go do something else. There would have not been me to reach out today to over 4,000 students and counting, advocating for music in all schools in Nigeria, driving social change through community music. So these are, when we are silent about this, let's just keep identity crisis and venturing into sectors, fulfillment in the long run. There are a lot of musicians, they have nothing to do with wherever they are. Some of them are studying law, some of them are studying whatever it is in the university, because they could not find themselves, and then they just venture into any different sector because the society thinks musicians are unserious people, so they don't want to be seen as unserious. They want to be seen as very serious people. So they think, oh, the doctor is a very serious person. It's as serious, it's more serious than musician. The lawyer is very serious, taking his work very seriously. So these are, some of the things that will go wrong when we keep silent. Also, the extent of our historical musicians, music and folk songs. If we keep quiet for too long, our historical, musicians, we have so many of them. We have Sam Ujuku, Akiwoba, the likes of, Chizona, all of these people, Osolaze Kwene, that has studied music and that has driven this change, to where we met it, and people that have also taken it to where it is now. So if we don't do anything about it, all of these things will go extinct in no time. We have a lot of folk songs, that is sing under the three people's folklores, including folk song. All of them will lose our culture. And then also hijack of gigs for professional musicians in substitute for non-professionals. By the time we are silent as musicians and as professionals, you then see, sometimes we must have experienced it where you go to a place and the people are maybe singing or playing instrument and you're like, who are these people? What are they singing? What are they doing? And they are all excited about it. And you see the audience is excited about it also. You see, because we as professionals, we are not doing so much. So all of these gigs will get to be hijacked. You may, not be able to get some of these things. And people, the society, public at large, what they will feed on is those unprofessionals. Those are what they will be feeding on and think, oh, okay, this is what the music is all about. Now, the third C, what is the creative solution? We've looked at the crisis. We've looked at the cost of silence. Now, what is the creative solution? What are we going to do? Employing the theory of change and logic model. This is what myself and my team will be able to do, and we are still doing over time. Now, determine the long-term impacts you want to achieve. Usually, these are changes in people's behaviors or practices, changes in policies or laws, or changes in procedures or regulation. Now, consider the short-term change in order to achieve the long-term impact. So you're looking at a long term, like at the end of the day, this is the vision, this is what we are seeing, this is what we want at the end of it all. We're going to have, okay, that is the long-term impact. Now, The short-term impact is the outcomes, that will bring about these changes. How are we going to achieve it? Changes in people's knowledge, changes in skills, their abilities, awareness, or motivation. Okay, we are envisioning in Nigeria as the Darko's Music Foundation, where musical dreams thrive, free from stereotype, free from barriers, where students get to be professionals, unlock their creative ability and all of that. Now, it doesn't happen in a day. What are the short-term, courses, outcomes that we need to, look out for? We need to teach them. You see, we need to teach them the skill. We need to raise this awareness. We need to go to these schools. We need to motivate the students, those ones that have, that creative ability, that yes, what you're doing, you're on the right path. No one should laugh at you. Are you going to be the next, whatever? So these are some of the short-term changes we are looking at to the long term, in the long run. And then we decide what activities do you need to do to create the short-term outcomes. These activities include workshops, events, publications, programs, podcasts. And then you consider where you will hold your activities. Is it a physical activity, or do you want it to be virtual? What kind of community, Would you need equipment? What are the equipment, if at all, that you need? And, etc. Now, you determine the resources that are needed to conduct your activities. You will likely need people. You can't, there's a proverb that says, if you go alone, you go fast. But if you go with people, if you go with a team, you go far. So you really can not do, so very much alone. So you would need these resources like people, staffs, volunteers, and then when you are doing your activity, what will be the cost? How much time will be committed? Is it on a weekly basis? Is it on a daily basis? Hourly basis? Can it be self-funded? Or would you reach out to donors? Is this something you can do yourself? You can just fund it from your pocket, or should you reach out to donors, in all of this activity? Then you monitor and evaluate the progress from time to time. So as you're doing all of this, you're monitoring what works. What do we need to change? Oh, we are succeeding here, but we are not doing so much here. What do we need to do? You just monitor and evaluate your progress from time to time. The last C, fourth C. So the first one again, let me just iterate very fast. The first C we said is the crisis. The second C we said is the cost of silence. The third C we said is the creative solution, employing the theory of change in theory and logic model. Now, the fourth C is the collaboration, call to action. Now, collaboration is working together to achieve a common goal. We want to do something. How can we do it, to achieve? What can we do? We need to collaborate to achieve X, Y, Z goal. And basically, let me tell you about collaboration. So we know how, social media works, for instance. Let's say you post on LinkedIn, right? And then people comment, they also share. When they share, it reaches a wider audience. People also get to see, apart from just in your post, people get to see it in several other places and then, connect with it. Okay, let's say you share on Instagram, or better still, you post a picture or a video on Instagram, And then get people to also share, comment, like. The more they do all of this is also collaboration. The more they do all of this, the more whatever it is that you've posted reaches a wider audience, you know. But then if it's just you, your posts, your story, nothing else, no shares, no comments, no likes, whatever, it's just there, then it's going to be just you. And then limited to the people you have in as your friends in that particular platform, or as your connections in that particular platform. But what collaboration does is that it drives, whatever you're doing faster. So musicians can use their voice, their influence, and resources to spring up new community initiatives, partner with existing ones through instrument drives, music teaching, mentorship programs, policy advocacies, etc. So as musicians, we can drive this change with collaboration. We really cannot do it solo. Solo. We are looking at Nigeria and we are looking at the world at large. So if you do it solo, it takes so much time. What maybe 3 people can achieve in a day, if you do it solo, you may not be able to achieve it in a day. It may take a week or more. So as musicians, we need to collaborate. You need to use your voice, your influence. Some of us, we are authorities, in the music communities. We can use our influence. We can reach out to the government. We can reach out to public sectors, private sectors. We have that influence, and then we could use our resources also to spring up new community initiatives, just like the one we have, the Darko's Music Foundation. We could come up with more, because of a truth, if you are looking at establishing music club in all of the schools in Nigeria, with just Darko's Music Club, that would take, good amount of time. It will take time. It may not be, in 2 years, we may not be able to achieve that in 3 years, even though we would eventually achieve that with, constant push and volunteering. But we need this to be done now. There is this urgency, there is this drive. We need this social change through community music to start to be something that is not just a policy, it's now a practice, something we implement. You go to every school in Nigeria, not just private schools. I know a couple of private schools, they have, music teachers. I was a music teacher in a private school, and so they can afford that, they pay for it. But this one's public schools, no one is paying for it. Government is just policy. So how are we going to drive this practice? We are the one that will push for it. You cannot bring a doctor to come and push for, or a lawyer to come and push for this. We are musicians. This is our community, and this is what we need to push for. Now, in conclusion, everyone can drive social change through community service. Now, one, is either you are driving this change through direct community service, that is hands-on. You are there. Your presence is there. Every Wednesday in all government schools, public schools, they have extracurricular activity from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So except for public holidays and when school is on break, I am physical in these schools, 2 to 3 p.m. every Wednesdays, teaching them music, You could also do that, you could plan. It's just Wednesdays, it's just an hour every week. You could be here, some other person is there, just share yourselves like that as a team, and you'll be able to achieve more, Secondly, you can do this through indirect community service. Now, what do we mean by indirect? You can work behind the scenes. You may not be able to commit, yourself, maybe because of your work or other things that you have to do, to be there physically, to teach physically, to drive social change physically. But then you can do it indirectly. You could say, oh, okay, so while you're there, what do the students need? they need recorders. Oh, okay, I can sponsor 50 recorders. You sponsor it. By so doing, you are also advocating for that change. You're also driving social change through community service, even though you're not there. Your donation is working for you. We have he wants to remain anonymous anyways. He has been is in the United States. He's also an alumnus from the Musical Society of Nigeria. From the very first day we started, this foundation, he's not in Nigeria, so there is no how he could be there physically, but he always sends his support. Whenever we are having projects, he sends his support, okay, take this, use it to, fund whatever he can fund, whatever is necessary you want to get, and all of that. So that is also a way you can drive social change to community service through indirect services, working behind the scenes. And thirdly, through advocacy and activism, that is, you're supporting policies. You, may not be there physically. You may not have the resources, you may not have the funds, but then you can drive, you can advocate for it. You can be an advocator in your social media platforms. You could advocate, you could share, whatever it is community we are doing, as a community. Just like prior to now that we're having this meeting, when this flyer was out, I saw it almost everywhere on my status, So that is a way you can also, you can, if you share to your status, the people, you have their contacts, they'll get to see it and join conversations like this. You share on your social media pages, they see it. And with that, you are also doing what? You are also driving social change through community music, service with your advocacy, your support, your activism. You are supporting these policies. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you for staying up to this very, moment. So these are the credits. And then, of course, credits to web sources and image credits too. Thank you so very much. Ms. Shemilori, over to you.
Wow. Mr. Daniel, that was very, very insightful. I think I was able to relate to some of the things that you mentioned, even about the quite unfortunate state of music education in primary schools and secondary schools. And I think one thing I've gotten from your presentation is that we need all hands on deck to make things better for all children that are coming up so that they can have, a very good knowledge of music education, even quite before they come into the university. Now, the floor is open to our audience. If you'd like to ask a question, please, you can raise your hand.
Yes. Please ask questions. I'm very much open for questions today.
Okay, so while we're waiting for our audience to get ready, I would like to ask a question, Mr. Daniel. In the video that you played, I saw that you had gone to different schools. There are about 2-3 schools in different uniforms. And so my question is this: how do you know that this is the right school to go next? What is your criteria process? How do you know that, okay, this school needs what I want, or this school needs what I have, and they need my time, and they need my resources? So how do you know that this is the next school to go to?
Okay, so basically what we do in going to these schools is that we are supporting and advocating so much for SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goals 4, that's quality education.
Yeah.
Now, we have, a number of events happening with the UN, which we take as an advantage. For instance, International Day of Education, that's in January. So what we do is, okay, so we have International Day of Education, International Day of Boys, International Day of Girls, and then Christmas, projects. So these are our four major projects, for the year. Now, for International Day of Education, we first of all go to a particular school. Of course, by the time myself and my team we've sat down to discuss, okay, so what school should we look at now? Where should we go to now? And then we look at a school. Basically, anyways, we are looking at going to every school in Nigeria, okay? But then how do we go about this? So, International Day of Education, for instance, we will then go to the district, right? We've been to District 4, District 1, District 5 also. We'll then go to the district, write a letter to them, telling them, okay, so this is what we want to do. We want to celebrate the International Day of Education in this school under your district. Give us the permission to do so.
Okay.
And we'll also, use the opportunity to advocate for music and then establish clubs in this school. So when they give us the permission, we now go ahead, to the school and then reach out to the principal or whoever is in charge and take the letter to them. They approve the letter also, and then we go ahead to, first of all, not just bring music, it is first of all, let's say the International Day of Education. We tell them what education is, what quality education is, and then also use the opportunity to establish club in the school. So there's majorly no criteria per se to say, okay, what does this school have? Do they have the resources X, Y, Z? Because we are looking at reaching out to every school, every public school in Nigeria. So we just use, okay, for instance, the International Day of Boys. We looked at it. These people, if we don't do International Day of Boys, then or International Day of Girls, there's going to be a bias somehow, with this separation. So if they cannot be in a mixed school, they are in an only girls school or they are in an only boys school, then we should also go to them. So we use the International Day of Education, girls, or International Day of Boys. We do the same, right? The letter to the state, go there, celebrate the day with them, and then use the opportunity, to establish clubs in the schools. Yes, I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yes, very well.
All
We're
right.
still waiting on our audience to raise up their hands so they can ask questions. Anyone in the house?
Okay, so just before the questions can keep coming, let me just say this. So as a foundation, Darko's Music Foundation, we've been able to reach out to over 4,000 students. That's just in Lagos, Nigeria. And that's not all the schools in Lagos, Nigeria. So we've been able to do this through, like I said, partnering with those UN events and then going to these schools through the districts to drive this change. But then the question is, okay, you reached out to 4,000 students. So are all these 4,000 in the club? No, they are not actively in the club, but we just reach out to them, drive it, and then the ones that are interested, right? Because it's also a matter of interest. It's also a matter of doing our research. We ask the teachers, you are the class teacher of GS1A or GS1B, etc. You're always in the class with them. Do you know anyone that has musical talents? Do you know anyone, So sometimes the teachers, they do, but then sometimes the students come themselves when we tell them we want to set up a music club, So we take students that are very much interested, and then we also get students that we know, the teachers, they know that, okay, that student has, this gift and always portray this in class. So they come to the club and we, teach them. Yeah, okay, some people are having their hands raised up, so I
Yes.
don't.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. Hello, Miss Ige.
Yeah,
Good
all right.
afternoon.
Hello, Shemilore. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to ask this question. Mr. Darko, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. Thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing. It's brilliant. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. I know the importance of music education because I know that music is very important in development of cognitive skills, in just the total development of the child, So thank you for what you're doing. I was going to ask, in fact, I have a couple of questions to ask, so please bear with me.
Okay.
The first one is you mentioned your clubs. You've reached out to you have been able to reach out to over 4,000 students, but not all of them are in clubs. Now, these clubs, I was going to ask how sustainable have they been? Yeah, so far. How many clubs have you established? Like, for over the years, how many clubs have you established? And what is the sustainability? Have you been able to go back to check on them, check on the students, see their progress, on these instruments or music generally? That's one. Then two, my master's research, in fact, my postgrad, the PGD and master's research have been on looking at ways to bridge the gap, so to speak, between popular music reality TV shows, basically, popular music and music education. And that's because you realize that what the students see or on social media, on their televisions as music is not the same as what they encounter in classrooms. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There's a disconnect between what they see on their screens as performers, as their superstars, so to speak, and it is still music. But when they come to class, there is a disconnect. There is this lacuna, because they see exciting stuff on TV, they see their superstars, and they come to class and they're learning lines and spaces and Mozart and things. So I don't know if your club has any way to bridge that gap, because I feel it is very important. We want the students to be musically educated, but then we also want them to feel like the pulse of what is happening out there, even in class. So is there a way to bridge this gap? And then thirdly, I don't know, your slides weren't showing on my side. I think it's network. I'm not sure if I saw any locally made instrument or African instruments when you were teaching. So is that something that your foundation is open to? Because I know I saw pianos, I saw wind instruments, but no African instruments like talking drum, or just to get them more connected to their roots and to their culture.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darko.
You're welcome, ma'am. All right, so I'm almost forgetting the questions. Okay, so the first one is, how sustainable is the clubs? And I've been able to, over time, ensure that these clubs are still up and running. Okay, so like I said earlier, the foundation is over a year. And then we've been able to set up music club in 3 schools. And we go to these schools, like I said again, every Wednesday. So it's not like, oh, okay, we are setting up the club and then we are leaving them, going, sometime come again, how are you guys doing? There are people on ground, I personally go there every Wednesday. So in a Wednesday, for instance, I could go to 2 schools, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Sometimes, if other volunteers come in, then we are in different places. So it's like it's something that is sustainable. It's not just leaving them, teaching them for a while, and then you keep them stranded. You come back again. How you guys do? Hope you've not forgotten what we've learned. So over time, like we are building, these blocks over time. So the students are very much engaged. Like it's an activity for every week. And then, have I been able to answer this first question? So I just need the second one.
Yes, I mean, partially. So you go back every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday is, yes, they do, they have their extracurricular activity on Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So every Wednesday, except there's public holiday or the schools are on break, we are there. We are there with them.
And have you been able to see any progress over the 1 year?
Wow, tremendous progress.
Exactly.
Tremendous progress. They've been able to, just imagine students are now parting songs. We now have some people singing altos, while some people are keeping the treble, going. So yeah, we've recorded a whole number of progress. Someone that could not, he just have passion for the drums, and now he can, drum to beats, drum to rhythm, and not just off away. So we're recording remarkable progress. And if, just like you say, my slides was not showing, I was not sure if you watched the video I played.
It wasn't showing properly. I could see bits and pieces of it. Yes.
Okay. So from the video, yes, this leads to the third question. We do have local. So I'll answer the second question. The third question, we do have local instruments. There's talking drum. If in the video, you could see a boy playing talking drum. And then there's what we call, the shekere, locally made, instrument. It's also there. While we have even the Western ones among, we also have the traditional ones also there. And then the second question was that there's what they see from their TV or out there is quite different from what they do in the school. Okay, so what we try to do is we try to bridge this gap. In that video, the students were singing and playing to this tennis song. Uyo miyo, oh uyo.
Yes, I heard that.
Yes, and then in order, it's just that I can't begin to play all of the videos of every week. I just did an excerpt. So in other times, what we're trying to do is just create this kind of balance, because if you come every day and you say the staff is 5 lines and 4 spaces, this is table clef, this is bar staff, these are the crotchets, if you do that every day, then it gets boring. It's like, is this actually the real music? So what we'll do is try to create that balance. This week, we look at the popular song. Last week, we just did by Fireboy. So they are excited about it. Hey, they are all singing and learning and then partying. Then next week, we come and say, okay, you know what? The staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. This is a crochet. This is a mini. These are the corresponding time values. And then next week, we go again, we introduce a popular song, educative, anyways, not just any kind of song, educative songs that, of course, that we can sing in schools, which they can also learn from. So yes, ma'am. Have I been able to answer the questions, please?
Thank you so much. Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Ganikale, I can see your hands up. You have the floor now.
Of course. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, Mr. Darko, I must really say that you made my day today with your presentation.
I'm glad I did. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was just thinking, what you are doing is something that I was pushing in the year 1998, 99 to 2000, but it was as if the ground was not ripe enough for it then before I left the country. But I we made a very good impact. The first thing that I noticed in your video when I had the tune, even though it wasn't very clear, but I saw what you were doing immediately, and it is those are like primary school children, right?
Yes, they are primary, junior, secondary.
That is absolutely fantastic. I saw the horns, I saw I had the singing, I saw the talking drum, and I'm like, this guy is onto something fantastic here, and we really need what you are doing, So for and the practical and the inspiring way that you have presented it is another thing. You see, your crisis silence collaboration, that framing captures the core of what many of us in Nigeria and African music education have been wrestling with. You've shown that what you've shown that music's absence in school is not simply an administrative failure, but it is a wound that silences creative potentials and erode cultural memory. So listening to you, I was really struck by how your work speaks to something larger than community outreach. Maybe you don't realize it, but that's what has happened here. What you are really demonstrating is that community music itself is a form of knowledge production. It's a living curriculum where creativity, cultural identity, civic participation is where they intersect. So in a sense, every workshop and every school visit becomes a micro university where African epistemologies are taught through practice rather than through imported books, right? So, and this raises an important question for all of us in academia and policy. How can we move from treating initiative like yours as charitable extensions of education to recognizing them as legitimate sites of knowledge and curriculum development? So, if Nigeria universities, our conservatories and cultural agencies embedded such community-driven models into the core training, we will not only solve the crisis of implementation, but we will also reclaim ownership of how music is taught and valued. So I really appreciate that your logic-based, your logic model approach outlined the short and long-term outcomes. So yet, I think deeper power lies in what you call, and if I quote you, the cost of silence. Right?
Yeah.
For it's not just institutional, it is historical. It reflects the lingering colonial hierarchy that still defines what counts as serious knowledge. By breaking that silence through music, you are not merely teaching notes or rhythm, you are revoicing an entire civilization, my brother. The entire civilizations, the entire way of knowing. Yeah? So I just want to say is thank you for reminding us, for putting this voice out as well, that that community music, when rooted in our own cultural logic, is not peripheral. It is the foundation of a decolonized, sustainable, and socially transformative education system. All I can say is kudos, well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Summary, the challenge is moving from charity to structure. How do we embed this model into teacher training curriculum standards and assessment so that it survives beyond individual passion? Because you can't just, as you have rightly said, as we speak of music's university, how do we keep ingenious idiom? You know that song?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Edo song with Yoruba drumming, local repertoires. And how do we keep all this at the center rather than as decoration that it is, that it has ever?
Yeah.
So if our universities and cultural agencies recognize community music as a legitimate site of knowledge, we don't just fix implementation, we reclaim how music is valued in Nigeria. And that to me is the real social change that your work points towards. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. I really do appreciate. Thank you.
Much, Mr. Kanikale. Mrs. Toko Balade, can see your hands raised up. You have the floor now.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Darko.
Good afternoon. Good to
Thank you very much for coming to share this very insightful ideas with us and very interesting work you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
My question is going to be like a follow-up to what Mr. Ganikale has just said about, about moving from charity to institutionalization. How can universities or researchers or independent musicians support your foundation or collaborate with your foundation? Because you talked about collaboration, and I know that there's a lot that is to be done with what you have done. It's a big project that cannot be done with just a few people. And then secondly, if you could redesign one aspect of Nigeria's music education system based on your experiences and what you have done, what would it be?
Okay. All right. So thank you so very much for that question. So answering the first question, how can we institutionalize, this, following from what the other Mr. Darko said. So it's from what I call active volunteering. For instance, I want you to look at the picture of what just happened in Nigeria. Even though I don't like to read about politics, but this is just like a good scenario where in the north, a pastor said they are killing Christians. Of course, the people there, they know they are killing Christians, but then where is the evidence? Who is talking? Is it just, oh, they are killing Christians and everybody go their way, oh, they are killing Christians? But someone was bold enough to stand up and say, look, these are the evidences, this is what we are doing, these are, whatever that shows that truly all of these things are being done. Help us. The person cried for help. And the video went viral and, got to different parts of the world, and you could see there were kind of an awareness to what is going on over there. And then even some international bodies, spoke about it, saying, this is an area of concern. This is a state of concern. You guys should do something about it. You guys should fix it. So if we don't keep quiet, if we all here, do this activism, like I said, either through active volunteering, indirect, direct or indirect, or with advocacy, using our platforms, speaking up. When they get to see this thing, it's a different thing to say, this place is dirty. Okay, how can we make it clean? And then just say, this place is dirty, let's clean it up. And then you clean it up, and then this is, sparkling white. In fact, someone one day told me, he said, Daniel, let's say you're working in a company, right, for instance, and then you have a very good solution to how the windows are going to, be dust-free. Would you write a proposal and give to the managing director or whoever is in charge that, look, this is my proposal. I see these windows, I can make them dust-free. The dust, because of the seasonal changes that are getting in and all of that. So, or even if it will cost you something, would you rather do it and everyone sees it, and then your managing director or whoever, you can now go there and say, this is what I've been able to do. Look at, I've been able to reduce, dust in the windows for the, for this season. And then I could also do it, for other seasons too, but this is what I will need. I will need X, Y, Z thing. The managing director, whoever is in charge, will happily give you that, even do more than which you would have proposed for, which might be ignored. So if we are going to do this, of course, it's going to cost so much, it's going to be very hectic, but we cannot just say, it's not enough to say, we need to implement these changes, we need to do X, Y, Z. But when we do it, and then it is publicized, then it will gain the audience it needs to gain. It will gain the attention of people that need to get the attention. And then they would do something about it. The second question is, if I want to change something, I will change the curriculum. Yes, I'll change the curriculum. The curriculum is terrible. I'm sorry to say. We are all musicians, and I've seen that curriculum. You can go and check any RDC, the net for curriculum. That's the body. If you see what is, it's I don't know, but that's what I'll change. I'll change the curriculum because everything is changing. Things are evolving. Even though they said they've just changed the curriculum recently in September, I still went on, I see, what did they change? It's like, what is going on here? So for me, if I would change something in an educational setting, I would change the curriculum. First of all, I will not just say it's cultural and creative art, but then I would ensure that it is splitted. That's one thing I would do. Drama. Yes, drama. Let it be drama. After now, you can now proceed to the university to do theater arts. It will be much more easier. It will be a good transition. And then I would say dance. It's so bad. University of Ghana, they have dance studies. Other schools in Africa and abroad, they have what we call dance studies. I've not seen that here in Nigeria. So I will do that so that it can be easy transition. Oh, you've been dancing. It's much more easier to just transit than when you get there. You now want to be finding your feet. Then I will say music. Music is just standing on its own. Just like it's standing on its own in the senior secondary school section, it should also stand in the junior secondary school section. Because if you see what you have in the senior secondary school section, you'll be amazed. Because even in our universities, some of us in first years, we don't get to even do what they will say SS1 should do. It is so serious. But they are just coming from JS3. They cannot even find their feet. And you say they should come and do, what is it called? Serious music that they don't even have any foundation of. Whoever taught them culture and creative arts when they were in junior secondary school omitted everything music, focused on the one that are theory-based, that he or she understands, and dishes out to the student, and then, okay, you guys should go. When they get to in 2019, I was a commercial student in school, but then I said, okay, if I was studying music, I need to, it has to be art. It's part of it. No one told me anything. I just thought, oh, okay, let me just go to commercial class with no prior knowledge of what it's about or what are you doing there and all of that. So by the time 2019, I was the only candidate in the whole of, then I was living in Ajeromi Ifelodun local governments, which houses lots of people, millions of people. I was the only one to sit for music that year at my center. When I got there, where is everybody? I was even surprised. Is it just me? I had to ask around, please, have they written this exam? Did I come late? Or I checked my time, but I'm on time. I came early. They told me, well, just wait for the invigilators. I waited, and they came. They said, where are others? I said, well, it's just me. They said, it's just you. Even me, I'm surprised, right? And then I got to do it, just me. So you can imagine the lap and the lapses and the gap. So if just me in the whole of Ajeromi Ifelodun would write music that year. Imagine, maybe the next day, no one would. And guess what? When I saw the questions, everywhere was blurry at first. And then I came back. Because you see, there is no music past questions. There is no music past question. Go and check anywhere. Go and look for it. No one is doing that. No one is documenting those past questions for music because they feel it's not important. So I did not get any past question. I did not see anything. I just got to, okay, what is the curriculum like? What should I read about? So I read about it. So there was no prior test before the exam. So if I will change the curriculum. The curriculum is not so good. I will change it. And then also, just like I mentioned, there are no music past questions. So whoever wants to do music is or on our own. We could change that. We could start, putting all of these things together so that if someone wants to do music now in exam, maybe as WAEC, JAM, GC, whatever, they have that confidence that, oh, okay, there's something to work with. Other than nothing to work with, just go and read all by yourself. And why? Because of this silence, because of these gaps that we have. So yes, I hope I've been able to answer your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Darko. So we have just 2 more questions left. We have a question in the chat box. Then after asking the question in the chat box, I'm going to call on Mr. Sam Smith to answer the question. The question in the chat box is, Mr. Darko, does the foundation have any initiative geared towards teachers training?
Okay, so for teachers training, we have not had that yet, but we are looking at it because when we call for volunteers, we are not just saying, okay, it's just for musicians alone. We want to call for music enthusiasts. You don't know music, it's fine, come. We would teach you, right? We would teach you all for free, and then you go ahead, because of course, if you say you want to volunteer, people like this initiative have been getting so much, oh, how can I be a part of it? I'm at Ibadan, I'm at so-called. Oh, okay, do you understand me? Do you have any information? No. Okay, it's fine. So the wait list, for that, so that by this coming year, 2026, we'll be able to that we will set up structures in place so it doesn't get like too bottleneck on us. So we are able to balance all of that. So yes, by the coming year, we'll have that with music teacher community, and they also go out there to drive that change through social music. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Darko. So this is our last question for today. Mr. Smart Smith, you have the floor. You can ask the question now for your contributions. Hello, Mr. Smart Smith.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. I think his mic is muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Good afternoon, everyone. Well done, Daniel Darko.
Thank you.
For your amazing job so far. Okay, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I just have one question to ask. Like, my question is, how do you manage your time, your resource? How do you cope? What are the challenges going from schools to schools? Trying to put all of these together.
All right. Yes. Okay, so how do I manage my time? I use the Eisenhower matrix to actually do a lot of time management for myself. Okay, what are the things that are urgent and important? What are the things that are urgent but not important? What are the things that are important but not urgent? You see, and then what are the things that are not important and then not urgent? So this is how I structure myself daily, and then do what is necessary. You know. It's just like when if you have stones and you have pebbles and you have sands and you have water, which one? And then you have a jar. Which one are you going to first fit in the jar? You see. So for me, I would say put the stones in the jar, put the pebbles in the jar. So when you put the stones and the pebbles in the jar, the stones may not be like in good shape, or neither the pebbles. So there will be other spaces. So by the time you pour the sand, they will find those other spaces to go in. Then the water can just simply go in without finding so much space, because it's just the sand would like taking those water you're pouring. So yeah, it's not so much of an easy job or an easy task, but yes, with the Eisenhower matrix, I'm able to manage my time, and with the example I just gave. So I do what is important, and I do them timely. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to answer the question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darko. So we have just one more last person that wants to speak. Hello, Dr. Ayo.
Okay, thank you so much. Our host for today, Shemilori, thank you so much. And also thanks to our guest today, Mr. Darko. Thank you so much for your insightful initiative, your great effort, and
Thank you so
great
much.
things you are doing. Thank you so much. We are so excited and honored to have you, on our side on this part
Pleasure
of
is
the
mine, sir. Thank you so much.
today. Thank you so much. So, well, mine is not so much of a question. Rather, it is to quickly, putting a few things on the table as a response also to some of the questions that have been asked or the conversation. So the point is community work, social change, social transformation, development, and how music can respond to that is an ongoing thing, and it has different approaches. Of course, in our society, we don't have so much of this kind of work at the local level, particularly on the, at undergraduate, primary school, community level, we don't have. And that's why a project like this, like Mr. Gani Kale said, is beyond the usual thing. It's beyond just music. It's something that all of us needs to, support and, put where it belongs. But having said that, in terms of community music engagement, yeah, at graduate level. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. I.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
At MTU, for instance, the music for our graduate music program, we have an entire project and course dedicated to promoting and training people to do this kind of work. So it's called applied ethnomusicology or applied musicology. Whatever you are doing in music, we have a course that is called apply, either whatever you want to put it, So, and the basic idea is applied work in scholarship. There is different bits. So some are just scholars, they want to write, do whatever the academic team wants them to do. It's fine. But we also have a course which is also a course that is also global. Applied anthropology, applied musicology, applied ethnomusicology, they are global phenomenon. And they've been around for more than 70, 80 years, So we have that course, we have that training at Mountaintop University at the music department. So for whoever wants to do this kind of work, we have training in that line. So I just want to make this clear to people that, okay, at undergraduate, of course, at local level primary school, we don't have so much like this. And that's why I am particularly interested in this kind of work and what you do, Mr. Darko, particularly. So the point is, at Organ House, we have facility, and we've been training people to do this kind of work. For instance, this particular program, the Organelle Seminar Series, is a product and a response to that community outreach that we are talking about. Yeah, it's a digital approach to that kind of. So the point is about reaching out, solving problem. So the question that is being solved are not homogeneous. There are layers of problems in our community, in our society, issues of access, issues of empowerment. You can keep naming them, social justice here and there. But like Mr. Darko is doing, every one of us needs to also roll up our shirts and start doing something and stop. Of course, it's good to talk, but the essence of talking is ability to go out there to start doing it. In fact, in most cases, when we start doing it, then the talking becomes more interesting and more valuable than just talking without doing. And one of it is this program we are having now. And when you go to the organelles, we have courses, we have projects ongoing in this area. So I just thought to make that open to everybody. Perhaps you are interested in applied musicology, creative musicology, anything under applied to solve problem. We have it, for the graduate program at Mountaintop University. So otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. It was really, really nice having you on today's conversation.
It's such
We've
a great
come
pleasure.
to the end of today's session for the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. But before we go, I want to remind us again to follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we can tell you that this program will be on YouTube too, for us to go back to rewatch. So, Mr. Daniel, thank you once again. It was very nice having you.
Thank you so much.
See you all next week, same time. Bye.